Hi. Oh, rude. Good evening. It's been a week already. Basically, all we have done all week is meetings. Neither one of us has even gotten to the barn until after dark, and we just haven't got a lot done, is basically what I'm getting at. So, we are still trying to figure out our cameras, but he had meetings on Monday. I had them yesterday and today. I think that's all we have for the rest of the week. I hope. So hopefully between now and through the weekend, we can get the last, or at least one of those two other cameras working. We're not sure if it's something to do with the short in the barn, or if it has to do with the splice that he and our buddy did 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, that may or may not have worked. The lines were cut, they spliced them together, but we don't know if these two went together or if they switched them, and instead of the way they're supposed to be, if they didn't mess them up. We don't have a clue. We just know they're not working. So we may have to tear all that apart and redo it as well. But we're going to start with trying to figure out the short first, and then move on to the more complicated things. But yeah, you haven't missed anything this week. We have literally done nothing but work, meetings, and feed. That's it. So hopefully, if the weather stays as nice as it's been staying, then hopefully we can get quite a bit done this week after work. But you just never know. Things always seem to come up when we least expect them, and nothing goes according to plan. So that's the camera that he is trying to get working right now. That one, and let's see, I think there's, oh yeah, that one down there. So that hopefully we can have two of them going. So that lamb has me a little concerned. Maybe it was just the way he was standing, but he was awfully humped up. He doesn't really look all that skinny. What, Hopscotch? What, baby? Hi, sweet girl. No, you've already ate. I know, you just love me because I bring you food. I know. Yeah. But you ate. Look at how fat your little sides are. You're a chunky monkey. You should go find your mama. She's still got milk. I'll keep an eye on that lamb for a bit. Like I said, he doesn't look skinny. He's just standing weird. So I don't know if he's just not getting enough to eat, or if he's just standing weird. But he's not buying, he's not, oh yeah, see, she just went over to go nurse on her mom. So she is still getting plenty of food from Holly. But yeah, when lambs get humpy like that, it makes me nervous, because I I don't know. He doesn't look hungry. He doesn't act hungry. He's just standing weird. Now he went to go eat. Now, I'll keep an eye on him just because if I have to give him a bottle once a day like I do hopscotch, I will. I'd rather do that than lose a lamb. Good morning. I am just trying to finish up some stuff in the office before I go make my rounds. We do farm goals, things we want to get done on the farm to basically make it better for us. So it kind of got me thinking on what we want to accomplish this year. I know no, it's not a need, it's a want. I want a window greenhouse so that I can start seeds outside in the greenhouse, start plants, rather than having a mess in my living room. And I know my husband would appreciate that too. So that's like a big one. And to get the other greenhouse put over the garden, the one we bought a couple years ago, we just haven't got that far yet. So those are like two personal things I want to get done. They're not really farm related, but they kind of are. We're not to the point of selling any produce out of the garden or any of that kind of stuff. I don't know that I ever will be. Right now it's just for what we make for our family. And so those are two things I would like to get done this year, just for me. Farm-wise, fencing is always a huge thing. If we can get to the point where we get all the perimeter done, the inside will be easy. It's just a matter of kind of mapping off where we want the fences so that our sheep can make a circle around the farm. I kind of would like to do some barn work. Oh, yeah, the dairy barn. The milking parlor is done. The milk room is done. But the processing side for where I'm going to make my cheese, our cheese cave, I'd like to get that set up. So those are two big things that I'd like to do just for the dairy side of things. I want to get the processing room finished, and I would like to get the, I call it a cheese cave. It's the refrigeration system to where we'll put the cheese in after we make it. So those are the two things I'd like to do in the dairy barn. We do have some barn work to do. We've got some of the beams that they're no longer in the dirt. They kind of wiggle waggle. And so I'd like to get those fixed. And I think those are really the only big things that I want to get done this year. I would still really like to get a hoop house and make an extension onto the barn for our lambs. We're getting to the point where, this is why I'm splitting stuff up so much into different groups, is because I need to not have so many sheep in the barn at one time. It can hold 100 ewes plus their lambs. Anything after that, it's really pushing it. So I would like to have an extension on the barn so I can kind of move stuff. You know, once they hit that 30-day mark, I can move them out into the next section and then still have room in the barn as needed. Maybe even before the 30 days, maybe by the time they're 2 weeks, I can kind of move them to the next stage, and then that would give the second half of my 30-day group area and room, and it's basically about feeding room. We have plenty of room, but we need headspace in the bunks so that everybody can get enough feed and not be shoving their way through or not get to the bunk. So that's what I'm mostly up against. So, oh, and the water trough in the barn. I'd like to get the automated water going too. I can come up with a million things I'd like to do the more and more I think about it, but yeah, I think garden needs to be maybe not top of the list, but somewhere in the middle. The dairy barn kind of needs to be toward the top. I'd really like to be able to process down there rather than in my kitchen. And then working on the barn and getting that finished and taken care of. So yeah, I think that's where we stand with New Year's goals, things that I'd like to get done this year. And I'm sure as the year goes on, I will find more stuff we want to do. But I think for now, that's where we're at. I don't need any more rams, but he's, hey, rude, not quite done. He's kind of ticking all the boxes for me. And, okay, now you are done. You're sucking air. Let go. That one right there. He's a close second. And there's my little humpy ram. So, yeah. I don't need a ram. I don't need any more rams. But I have 2 prospects in here that are making me rethink that decision.